When I was 9 years old, our house became a canvas for a series of unexplained events. My parents, deeply religious from their Catholic upbringing and schooling, couldn't easily dismiss the strange occurrences that unfolded day after day. I vividly remember one evening being in my bedroom down the hall from the kitchen in our ranch-style house. The sudden sharp scream from my mother drew my brother and me into the kitchen. Fearing some calamity had occurred, her face etched with fear, she recounted a chilling encounter. While pulling something from the oven, she had seen a figure standing behind her in the reflective surface of the stainless steel. Desperate to calm our fear, she chalked it up to fatigue from a long day. Fast forward 3 months, just a few days before my 10th birthday, the night seemed ordinary, and we went to bed in the usual way. At that point in my life, I slept with my bedroom door slightly ajar, as our new dog would spend a brief period with me before seeking refuge in my parents' room. In that hazy space between wakefulness and sleep, I heard the familiar creak of the door outside my room, as if my father were checking on me. Oddly, they had bid me goodnight just 15 minutes prior. Intrigued, I opened my eyes to investigate. To my bewilderment, my gaze fixed on the left corner wall above my bed, where an inexplicable black void hovered less than 3 feet away. Attempting to sit up, I realized I was paralyzed, unable to summon my parents. Panic set in, and after a brief eternity, a thin black hand with long gray nails extended from the abyss, making contact with my forehead, plunging everything into darkness. As an adult, I recognize the episode as sleep paralysis, but what haunts me is the subsequent dream. I found myself in a boundless expanse, with a crib in the center cradling a newborn, surrounded by elderly men in all white, fixated on the infant. Strangely, I knew the baby was me. Plunging downwards, I screamed and the men gazed upward as I passed through the crib like air. Awakening in my room, I sat up only to find figures with glowing white eyes and gaping mouths surrounding my bed. Terrified, I screamed until my parents rushed in, causing the apparitions to vanish instantly. They dismissed it as a nightmare, but the images lingered, robbing me of sleep for months. Small, eerie incidents persisted until I moved out 6 months ago, providing temporary relief. However, 2 nights ago, on my 22nd birthday, a disconcerting event resurfaced. While preparing lunch as my boyfriend napped, he recounted having the same unsettling dream twice in one day. In his narrative, he found himself in our living room heading to bed, only to encounter 3 women with wide eyes, peering down at my slumbering form. Upon meeting his gaze, the figures turned towards him and the bedroom door slammed shut, jolting him awake. About a year or 2 back, I spent a night at my parents' place. It was one of those quiet evenings, and I was in my room, having a peaceful meal. Feeling quite at ease, no drugs or sleep disruptions, I finished my supper and decided to take the dishes to the kitchen. Now, the layout required me to walk straight about 7 meters, take a left turn, and then continue straight. Taking another left at the turn would lead me to the living room door, which was slightly open, casting a dim light at the far end of the hallway from where I stood. As I left my room, something peculiar caught my eye on the other side of the hallway. A translucent figure, a bit distant but still discernible against the backdrop. It appeared to be facing the cracked door of the living room, where my father and my mother were engrossed in conversation, completely unaware of the spectral presence. Standing there, I couldn't help but feel perplexed. The figure slowly turned its head towards me, locking eyes with me for a moment, and then turned completely, embarking on a deliberate walk. No red eyes or ominous signs, just a 3-dimensional shadow figure. In my initial confusion, I convinced myself it was my brother, who also lived in the house next to my room. In the dark hallway, I positioned myself at the door, expecting him to pass by with my dish in hand. With my door open and the glow of my computer screen illuminating part of the space, the approaching figure seemed more like my brother than a supernatural presence. As I drew closer, the figure's human-like features became apparent, yet its face remained shrouded in a translucent shadow. Despite lacking visible eyes, it kept its gaze on me. I briefly looked at the ground, puzzled by the seemingly slow pace of my brother. Looking up again, I noticed the figure's nonchalant, almost arrogant movements, swaying his shoulders and arms in a swaggering gait. The figure, now just 2 to 3 meters away, continued its unhurried advance. Irritation grew as I wondered why my brother would fixate on me like that. Despite the absence of discernible facial features, its head remained directed at me, unwavering. The realization hit me that the dimly lit hallway was unusually dark, allowing the shadow figure to stand out starkly against the backdrop of darkness. As the entity stepped into the light from my computer screen about 2 to 3 meters from me, it became apparent that this was not my brother. Paralyzed with shock, I scrutinized the figure standing a meter away. Its head still fixed on me. Suddenly, it seemed to take a small step back, aligning itself more vertically towards me. In that moment, the figure's three-dimensional nature became strikingly clear. Then, like a camera losing focus, it vanished before my eyes, perhaps transforming into a mist in the matter of milliseconds. This surreal encounter lasting a mere 7 to 10 seconds was unlike anything I had experienced in my 20s. The figure's initial position and behavior suggested an attempt to capture my father's attention through the cracked door. But upon noticing me, it seemed momentarily surprised or confused before redirecting its slow and deliberate movements towards me. It was late into the night and I found myself sitting on the edge of my bed, engrossed in a book. Suddenly, an eerie weight descended onto my mattress, as if something deliberate had climbed on. First, it felt like a knee pressing down, followed by a subtle adjustment next to me. The mattress sank beneath the palpable weight, but what sent shivers down my spine was the inexplicable warmth, like a hot breath enveloping me. I couldn't decipher if it was a ghost or some ethereal presence. Adding to the spine-chilling atmosphere was the realization that I wasn't the only one encountering this mysterious force. My mother, no stranger to paranormal encounters, had come face to face with the same entity twice. She described it as a man having glimpsed its silhouette. The spectral figure not only had shared her bed, but had crossed disturbing boundaries, leaving her feeling violated. What struck me was her mention of the warmth that accompanied the entity. As she recounted her experiences, my unease grew. According to her, these spirits sought human warmth, and their proximity manifested as an intense, unexplained heat. This shared encounter left us both grappling with an unspoken fear, prompting me to share this unsettling tale, seeking answers and perhaps finding solace in the collective acknowledgement of our paranormal experiences. In the quiet embrace of my bedroom, lost in the glow of my phone screen, a sudden disruption shattered the tranquility. 2 deliberate knocks on my bedroom door. Picture this: my room seamlessly connected to the backyard, a sanctuary securely locked. Nighttime sounds weren't alien to me, but these knocks were different, deliberate, slow, and muffled, echoing a distinct rhythm in the silence. Knock, knock. It recurred twice this month, leaving me unnerved. The first time I dismissed it as a trick of the mind in the stillness of the night. However, the persistent pattern of 2 knocks, no more, no less, raised unsettling questions. After each episode, the mysterious visitor retreated into an eerie silence. The looming uncertainty lingered. Was this a spectral presence or perhaps someone living? Fear held me back from investigating. The fear rooted in the darkness beyond my door, an unseen entity responsible for the nocturnal disturbance. In a feeble attempt to rationalize, I pondered if it was a ghost entity reaching out from the afterlife. The alternative, a living person attempting to make contact, seemed equally implausible and unsettling. The oddity, the knock-in ritual unfolded consistently after midnight, between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. Shrouded in impenetrable darkness, the idea of confronting the unseen visitor in the pitch black night deterred me, and curiosity struggled against the instinct for self-preservation. So I chose to share this unsettling experience, my nerves too frayed to face the potential reality lurking behind my bedroom door. A sense of vulnerability urged me to leave the mystery unresolved, seeking solace in the mundane act of sipping juice, a feeble attempt to restore a semblance of safety in the face of the unknown. The story lingers, a chilling enigma wrapped in the shroud of the midnight hour, waiting for the courage to unveil the source of haunting knocks echoing through the stillness of the night.